This conference will now be recorded.
All right. Mr. Zohorecheck, please call the roll.
Absolutely. Mr. Fuller.
Here.
Mrs. Gleba.
Here.
Mr. Love.
Here.
Mr. O'Donnell.
Present.
Dr. Petrola. Ms. Yaney.
Here.
Mr. Wainwright.
Here.
I see
And-
Mr. Barry is here. Is the mayor here?
Yes, I'm here. Good evening.
Thank you, sir.
Good. Solicitor and mayor are in attendance for the record. We'll skip past the Pledge of Allegiance and we'll move to items from the floor. Mr. Zohorecheck, are there, I guess, first anyone present at the meeting who wishes to speak? I'm not seeing anybody in my attendee list.
I
Are
do
there
not see
any-
anyone either.
Were there any written submissions?
There were none.
Okay. Well, approval of minutes. You got the minutes for April 19th and May 3rd in your packets. Does anybody have any corrections or additions for those? Hearing none, Mr. O'Donnell.
I move to approve the minutes of April 19th, 2021 regular meeting.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Yes.
Aye.
Yes.
And any opposed? Hearing none, minutes approved. Mr. O'Donnell.
I move to approve the minutes of May 3rd, 2021 regular meeting.
A second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Yes.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, those minutes are also approved. Authorization to pay bills, Mr. O'Donnell.
I move to authorize the payment of bills for goods and services received by the borough, having been reviewed and approved by the General Government Committee from the general fund in the amount of $47,489.03, from the sewer fund in the amount of $9,781.19, for a total of $57,270.22. Would you like some notes on that, Mr. President, before we vote?
Well, we'll need a second first.
Okay.
Second.
It's up to you. You can do it now or at your report. Your
Well,
discretion.
just get it out of the way now so everyone hears it before we vote. These were very much routine bills. The only large ones that the manager, I'm sure, will give us a little bit more information on was a $6,993 bill, 7 cents, for the Edgewood ARLE traffic safety. $9,739.53 for Lennon Smith Solaire for the source overflow reduction study and the 2020 sewer repairs and 2021 construction project. Last thing I'll mention was $8,275 for tree removal. It's a Davy tree service, and that went out in our online bill payments.
All right. Does anyone have any questions for Mr. O'Donnell? All right, hearing none, we had a second. Mr. Zohorecheck, please call the roll.
Mr. Fuller.
Yes.
Mrs. Gleba.
Yes.
Mr. Love.
Yes.
Mr. O'Donnell.
Aye.
Ms. Yaney.
Aye.
Mr. Wainwright.
Aye, and the motion passes. Can move into committee reports. General Government, Mr. O'Donnell.
Aside from the bill report, we have no additional report to submit.
Okay. Police report, Mayor Wilson.
Nothing to report. Everything's running good, and the new car should be back in once it gets the decals. So we're doing fine. We've been lucky. That's it.
Excellent. Public safety, Mr. Fuller.
Thank you, Mr. President. Public Safety met to interview the part-time officer that we are hoping to hire later today. Young candidate. He seems like a good guy. I don't know if Ryan has anything else to add, but we interviewed him, and Chief seems to think he'll make a good officer.
I agree with that entirely.
And that's it.
Very good. The community development, Mrs. Gleba.
Hi, yeah, I think we need to schedule a meeting.
All right, I guess we can do that in new business. Those on the committee, I guess, look at your calendars. Anything else? Or you can do it now.
It's up to you.
Yeah, we can do it in new business.
I'm
Oh,
on that
sorry.
committee. I got my calendar open. If you want to
Okay.
do it.
Let's just do it now.
Yeah. Okay, so are they usually still done on a Monday evening, or is that?
No, it's entirely up to you.
Okay.
Ad hoc, I believe.
Okay, well, next week, I believe I could do Monday, 7 o'clock, or Wednesday, the 26th, or Monday, the 24th.
Those are both good nights for me. I would prefer the Monday at 7. Are we,
Second? Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
are we meeting in person, or are we gonna do a Zoom thing?
I'm open. Are the committee meetings usually in person now, or is
It's
it?
entirely up to you.
It's been a little while.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm fine.
we've been doing the virtual thing because, but yeah, entirely up to you.
Well, I mean, restrictions have been eased. I'm vaccinated. I'm assuming most people are vaccinated. So maybe it's time to get back into person. I don't know. I don't have a strong feeling either way, if it's much more convenient to do this, but if we want to meet at the borough buildings.
I'm on board. Let's have an in-person meeting.
Okay. So 7 o'clock, Monday, May 24th.
All right. Anything else to report, Ms. Gleba?
No.
Okay. Public Works, Mr. Love.
Thank you, Mr. President. Public Works did not meet.
Okay, Community Services, Ms. Yaney.
Community Services did not meet.
Okay, Personnel, George, are you on that committee?
No, I don't think so.
Hang on, John.
Mr. Love?
Yeah, it's
Mr.
Mr. Love.
Did you meet? You're done, Joe?
We did not meet.
Okay. Pension, Mr. Fuller.
Pension committee did not meet. We did get the quarterly reports, and the pension funds are doing well. As the stock market goes, so do our pension funds. So they're doing pretty well.
What's the current fund rate, Mr. Fuller?
Better than average. I forget what they're both up. I think funding rates, the DPW, the non-police is still over 100%. I believe the police is about 81% now. So they're
Over
both
80.
pretty well funded.
Over 80 is pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Anything for Connect, Mr. Zohorecheck?
Quickly, yes. They're hosting or having their May meeting on the 27th, actually at South Park. I had already scheduled time off, so I will not be able to attend that meeting, which is unfortunate, but they're also working towards the Energy and Environmental Subcommittee is still plugging away on the drafting of a regional climate action plan, with the draft hopefully to be prepared in July. And that's all I have to report on Connect.
Okay. Borough Solicitor Report, Mr. Berry.
Thank you. I got an email today that the solicitors group for the consent order is having a meeting next week. And we are supposed to get a draft of a new consent order with DEP for the sewers in June. So that's just a preview of coming attractions. I will attend that meeting and learn about the new consent order. But apparently we're going to be getting a new consent order that's, very different than what we discussed last meeting with the transfer agreements with Alcosan. This is a consent order with the Department of Environmental Protection. That's all I have to report.
Mr. Berry, one quick question. Did the old consent order run out, or are they just drafting a new one just to perturb us?
Yes. No. I don't think the old consent order ran out per se, but it, is being updated. Well, I will find out next week what's going on with that, so I can report to you after I attend the meeting. Rob, you may know more about.
I can answer that. Yeah. The orders were just simply continued. They did expire, but they were simply continued as is until the new order can be put in place. As with literally everything, obviously, COVID did kind of sidetrack this a little bit, and also the regulators' intent, and I say regulators, I mean all the way from the DEP to the EPA, was to have a simultaneous execution of consent orders between the municipalities. And so the municipalities and DEP and the EPA get their order, and Alcosan, being our treatment facility, gets its own separate consent order with DEP and EPA. And in the first round of those, they were on different timetables and different tracks, which made it very confusing and almost impossible to keep track of who was on first. The goal this time around, and it's actually going to happen, is we're going to have the same or very near execution dates with those two agreements. So they'll be on the same track and timeline. So we all know, like, okay, agreement A is expiring and agreement B is expiring, and the work that we have to do, meaning the municipalities' work, will parallel the interest and requirements that Alcosan has to do. And let's make for a tighter operation of both consent orders.
Now, one quick question. It was my understanding that due to the consent orders, we could never do anything about Wilkinsburg sewer overflowing into our old tot lot because of the consent order. Is it possible now that we can pursue actions against them if necessary?
We will have, well, I'm sorry. Speaking metaphorically, we, as in a municipality, in the consent order, there are, in the forthcoming consent order, and Tim will learn about this week, there are requirements that communities eliminate. I believe they must reduce down to 10% the number of overflows they experience every year, which basically puts the Koenig geyser in the crosshairs of the consent order. So Wilkinsburg will have to take action on that. Now, obviously, they have a duration of time to do that under, but yes, it should compel them. I can't say whether we would have standing now under the new consent order to pursue action. That definitely sounds like a Tim question that he will learn more about at his next meeting.
Well, George, I'm not sure I agree with what you said. We discussed the Wilkinsburg situation with Koenig Field many, many times over the years. And, if we would want to discuss that more fully, we would have to go into executive session.
Okay. It may perhaps after the meeting, but it was always my understanding that we could not do anything because of the consent order that we both signed.
I never said that, and I'm not sure I agree with that, but if we would want to discuss that more fully, then I think we need to go in executive session.
Okay, well, let's skip it for now, and then we'll maybe talk about it after you meet.
Okay, but again, I don't think it necessarily has anything to do with the consent orders. Wilkinsburg sewer is overflowing into our tot lot, and that's a different matter in my mind. I'm just letting you know.
Okay.
Anything else, Mr. Berry?
No, I have no other report. Thank you, Mr. President.
And do we have any need for an executive session?
Not unless George wants to discuss that more fully.
Not at the current time. Thank you.
Fantastic. Borough Manager report, Mr. Sohorchak.
Thank you, Mr. President. I do have a couple of things to cover here. So the Maple Avenue traffic signal installation, we've accomplished all of the items given to us on our punch list, save for one, which is completely trivial, but it's an extension on a push button. I've communicated this with PennDOT. I'm awaiting their response, but very likely we will still be given the green light, if you will, on our extension and notice to submit for reimbursement on that. So that project will be coming to a close very shortly. Additionally, the Oakview parking lot retaining wall project, we've made tremendous progress on that project. The contractor is actually well ahead of schedule. We had a slightly stressful situation last week where the drilling contractor encountered a void in one of the pylons he was drilling at about 17 feet. We weren't sure what was in that void since we would expect earth. Luckily, it seems like it was nothing more than just a little bit of settlement, subterranean settlement, which does happen. For probably less than $1,000 extra in concrete, we were able to successfully plug that void and finish drilling that case on. So this upcoming Friday, I will have my first walkthrough of the site to inspect. I won't be inspecting, but to see all of the retaining walls that have been built and just review the reconstruction and rehabilitation of the parking lot and the residence yard that we had to do a little foray into. So that's very, very good news. Today I was notified from SHACOG, the South Hills Area Council of Governments, that Cargill, who is our salt supplier, has agreed to extend our contract that we have with them currently for an additional option year for 21 and 22 salt deliveries. And surprisingly, they actually reduced their price. We were expecting a price of $80.87 per ton based on our modifier in the contract, but actually they agreed to hold the same price as last year, which was $78.82 per ton. So it's $2, but I'll take $2. That's great. So that price will hold. Obviously, we have to look at the consumer price index adjuster, but otherwise, that's our base price for starting off next year's salt purchases. I am currently working with Officer Susala and our emergency services worker, Paul Nye. Paul's really taken the lead on updating the borough's emergency operations plan. He actually has a master's degree in disaster management, so he's putting those skills to use and helping us revamp the EOP, which we found to be a little bit stale and lacking. So that'll take, I expect that to take a couple of months to fully flesh out and revise. I'll probably have some questions for public safety, but my end game with this is to have a brand new emergency operations plan that's clearly spells out the protocols for declaring a local disaster, should we need to, and also who is in charge of what. So do stay tuned for that. But so far, Paul has made some very good headway into that project. Unfortunately, the candidate that I had lined up for summer help has backed out of his, declined his offer that we extended to him. So if you know of anybody looking for summer employment, send them my way. It seems like, unfortunately, I'm going to have to strongly reconsider how much we're willing to pay summer help moving forward. Currently I'm looking at between $10 and $11 based on what we budgeted, but I can't get any takers at that. But if any of you should happen to know, I'd be willing to go down to 16 years of age. But anybody 18 and over, be more than happy to give them a lawnmower and tell them to go cut some grass for the summer and put a few bucks in their pockets. At the first June meeting, we will have bid openings for the road program. Actually, we'll do the bid opening the week prior, but we'll give notice to the successful low bidder at the first June meeting, so we can get that project started. The gazebo project in Memorial Park is coming along nicely. The foundation for that has been poured. The build day for that will be in 2 weeks' time, which is on, I didn't write the date down, I'm sorry there, which will be on the 23rd of May. The Boy Scouts will be over there with all their volunteers actually constructing the gazebo that is currently being stored at the Borough building. And on the 27th, we have a group of volunteers from the Friendship Circle who are coming to plant flowers around the gazebo, and then the Boy Scouts are going to arrange with Public Works assistance to do all the mulching around the gazebo and mulch a new pathway to the gazebo. So it'll be a nice little addition just in time for Memorial Day in Memorial Park.
Happening on Sunday.
Yes, Sunday the 23rd. Saturday the 22nd, I guess the Scouts have an open house at Koenig Field. So to coordinate around that, they're doing the build day on Sunday on the 23rd. Hopefully they're not still there on Monday. Jordan Tax Service will be in the building on May 25th from 1 to 5 p.m. for in-person property tax payments, if anybody is interested. And a reminder, if anyone is interested in attending the ALOM conference at Seven Springs, please let me know. I know that Ryan is interested. I know that Mayor Wilson has expressed interest. Please, contact me, email me, call me, however, let me know you want to go so I can get you signed up. And lastly, I mentioned I will be out of the office, over Memorial Day weekend from the 27th until the 2nd of June. That is all that I have to report tonight.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone have any new business?
I just asked Rob about the air conditioning in the police changing room. Rob?
This is the first I'm hearing about this, Mayor. The chief didn't mention anything to me. Are we not having? I'm not sure what you're.
I think it's dying on the second one, the one on the second floor where they changed. Kind of dead.
All right, I'll follow up.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, quickly on new business. Are we considering going back to in-person meetings for all of council? I mean,
I was gonna take the poll right before the end of the meeting, but I mean, I guess I'll just ask. I mean, is anyone not vaccinated at this point?
I just got my second shot today, so it's going to be a couple weeks, but the next meeting is in 3 weeks.
I mean, does anyone have any objections about going back to in person for the next meeting?
Not I.
All right. Fantastic. Rob, why don't you just, we'll go back to the.
Yeah, and actually it's great. I can throw an ad in the cheap section of the paper since we have 3 weeks time. Don't cost us $200.
All right, not that I don't miss these wonderful calls, but it'd be good to get back in the room. All right, committee action, motion to hire Andrew J. Hackos. Mr. Fuller.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to hire Andrew J. Hakos as a part-time police officer, conditional upon his successful completion of a physical and psychological evaluation and background investigation at a rate of $19.58 an hour as specified by the collective bargaining agreement.
Second.
Mr. Zohorecheck, please call the roll.
Mr. Fuller,
Yes.
Mrs. Gleba,
Yes.
Mr. Love,
Yes.
Mr. O'Donnell,
Aye.
I'm sorry, Ms. Yaney,
Aye.
and Mr. Wainwright.
Aye, and the motion passes. Resolution 2021-11, Mr. O'Donnell.
Do I need to do this whole thing, Mr. President, or is this a by total only thing? Whatever you want.
It's not that long and your name's in it a bunch, so you might as well.
That's true. Okay. Borough of Edgewood, Allegheny County, Pennsylvania, Resolution 2021-11. Be it resolved that the Borough of Edgewood hereby requests a Greenways Trail and Recreation Program, GTRP grant in the amount of $160,000 from the Commonwealth Financing Authority to be used for Laurel Street Park improvements. Be it further resolved that the applicant does hereby designate Rob Zohorecheck, Borough Manager, as the official to execute all documents and agreements between the Borough of Edgewood and the Commonwealth Financing Authority to facilitate and assist in obtaining the requested grant. I, Ryan O'Donnell, Vice President of Edgewood Borough Council, Allegheny County, Pennsylvania, hereby certify that the foregoing is true and correct copy of a resolution duly adopted by a majority vote of the Edgewood Borough Council at a regular meeting held July 6th, 2020.
That would be tonight, Ryan. I apologize.
Okay, the May 17th, 2021. Yeah, that was weird. And said resolution has been recorded in the minutes of the Edgewood Borough Council and remains in effect as of this date. In witness thereof, I have fixed my hand and attached the seal of the Borough of Edgewood, this the 17th day of May, 2021.
I will blame the engineer for that typo. I apologize.
Second.
I'll get you a new copy to sign, Ryan.
Oh, but I already affixed my name.
Well,
Yeah, and the seal too, man.
The seal and my hand.
we will be charged extra.
We had a second. Mr. Zohorecheck, please call the roll.
Mr. Fuller,
Yes.
Mrs. Gleba,
Yes.
Mr. Love,
Yes.
Mr. O'Donnell,
Aye.
Ms. Yaney,
Aye.
Mr. Wainwright.
Aye, and resolution 2021-11 passes. All right. If anyone has anything else, next meeting sounds like it's in 3 weeks. Just a reminder, we actually at one time did have a dress code for that. I think Pat just didn't want people to wear jeans and, wear a shirt with a collar if you could. I'm wearing flip-flops and that will no longer be acceptable.
I mean, I could hang some tablecloths or something if you'd like some privacy, Just don't stand up.
Yeah. Mr. Fuller, do you have some kind of motion for us?
I would like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
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 Yes.
All those in favor? All those against? Hearing none. Motion passes, meeting adjourned. I will see you all in person in 3 weeks.
Be nice.